What's up?
Hey,
Great to see you. We were chatting. A lot has changed since you were
absolutely.
last on, and the family has grown.
Yes, yes. We were just talking. I was pregnant last time. Now I'm not. So hopefully I have a little bit more energy for you.
No, it's great. Great to have you back on, and really to
Absolutely.
dive back in and you know I know we're gonna hit on kind of a little different topic, and we really what what really kind of the connection in my takeaways from the previous conversation was just your unique skill set and everything that your learning phase of your life and in a short amount of time the skill set you were able to acquire, and then from a sales and marketing perspective. And I know we went deep down the rabbit hole, and definitely higher end strategy, what it means, from a true head of marketing type of perspective, and how you have to think about things and look at things, and
Absolutely.
and definitely getting into more tactical. And I think kind of leading into our topic of perks of being on a team, I think that's where you get shared capabilities, right? You get shared skill sets instead of you having to try to have a broader range and acquire so many unique capabilities and skill sets. It allows every individual to go deep on what they're really good at and what they bring to the table. And I'm really excited to have you back on, kind of touch on some things and kind of what you're excited about as we're wrapping up this first half of the decade. It's funny to kind of think about that, right? I mean, we're
Yeah.
halfway through the decade,
I
and
don't think I've ever thought about it like that.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. I feel like even I've only been in real estate about 6 years now. But even within that 6 years, it's been a roller coaster. I mean, so many things that have been so many ups, so many downs, so many ways you have to pivot. And I think that, within having a team, it helps keep you grounded in some way.
yeah. So what, when people hear team, everybody has their own perception of it. Some people, maybe they have a basketball team, maybe some
Uh-huh.
people have a baseball team, maybe somebody have a football team. Like,
Absolutely.
what is your definition when you say, being a part of a team? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, to me, being a part of a team is sharing values and holding a brand with a group of people. So, when anyone comes to me and say, hey, I think I want to be a part of a team, or I want to be on a team, that's a newer concept because when I first got into real estate, there weren't as many teams as are right now. And I think it's because of what you were saying before. We have to leverage different skill set from different people on the team, but also being able to come together as one to build your business. So,
Mm,
whenever anyone comes to me saying that they want to be a part of a team, the first thing I ask them is, who do you want to be as a realtor? So once you figure out who you want to be or where you want your career to go, then you can align yourself with which team best meets that. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. So really starting and getting clear on, I mean, it's the whole oxygen mask concept, right? You gotta know, make yourself strong, but also, really uncover the capabilities and the things that you bring to the table. My mind goes to, really falling in love with Working Genius lately.
Mhm.
Um, and really, all of the assessments, the disc assessment, colors. I mean, there's just so many of the different type of assessments and things out there. Predictable success quiz. Those are some really good ones that help
Yep.
you uncover what you're the best in the world at.
Yep.
How much stock do you put into um, being able to get feedback from people that genuinely value you and are not afraid to tell you what you need to hear and not just what you want to hear, but they give you some tough love. How much do you value that in helping you really get clear on kind of what you should do and what you shouldn't do?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a very genuine and candid person. So whenever someone comes to me, whether it's a client or even a real estate agent, I try to be as clear about who I am so that to make sure that we are aligned in our vision. So I like to work with agents that appreciate that honesty, appreciate that feedback. But also, what I do want to point out is that being a part of a team means, I mean, in my definition, is co-branding and coming together and collaborating together, and in each other's geniuses. However, there's so many different teams that run it completely different. So when you even think about being a team lead, for me, I just kept thinking, make a team that you would want to be a part of. Be
Mhm.
be the team leader that you would have wanted to have. And so I'm very clear on how I run our team and the things that we do and do not do, and the values that we hold. And I like to be upfront and to be clear on that so that when someone does raise their hand and say they want to be a part of it, they understand fully what they're signing up for. And then I also want them to understand that if it does not fit, your personality with my team, there's somewhere for you. There's so many different teams out there with so many different ways they run their team, the different, values they stand on, the different team splits they have, the different benefits and perks of being a part of their team. I think once you figure out, who you are and making sure that you're able to take that feedback and that criticism, or, I'm a little more gentle, but some people are, a little aggressive, and you may need that type of aggressive team leader, or you may need that type of accountability, or you may have that time where you say, okay, I need someone every day telling me what to do, or I want to run my business as if it's a job or a salary position. Or you can say, hey, I want to be an independent contractor. I want, leisureness. So I think understanding who you are and what you need in your business is a first step of understanding what team to be a part of.
I love that. Some self-analysis, and do you take into consideration, I guess, two things as you were talking, one was, what's important to you based upon kind of the stage of of the career, right? So you're 6 years in, so you got to see things right before,
Yep.
then right during, and then, coming out of, back into what, some markets already starting to see a little bit of a balance, starting to see inventory, stay on a little bit longer. So you're starting to kind of, get a full feeling for, all the well-rounded of the market. But how much do you, really challenge, individuals coming on to really get clear based upon the stage of your career, what's important for you at this time? And I think, you know, maybe they're not problem aware. So how do you help them become aware of what they're really going to need to, really jumpstart their career, but also keep
Yeah.
it going?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I try to do is stay open with my team members. So I'm still learning. And any team leader that says they know all the answers, they're lying, because
Mm-hmm.
this market is so crazy and unpredictable and up and down. And we went to, I think, 3 different seasons this year alone in the market. So I try to be as candid as possible that I'm still a learner and that I'm still learning. So I tell my agents about my deals that I'm working on. I'm very an open book. So I'll even tell them the themes of my career. Like, oh yeah, I remember going through that theme year 2 of my career. That was something that I had to overcome. And then year 3, there was a different theme. And so that way they kind of know what to expect, but they also see the other side of it. A lot of times when you're in the business and the problems come, you start to get in your head and think that, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, or maybe this isn't for me, but to see someone who made it out on the other side, or
Yeah.
who's still fighting on that other side, to say, hey, I've been through there. I've lost some deals before. I've had clients like that before. This is how I navigated it, or this is how I kept my spirit up moving forward about it.
Yeah, I always kind of joke. I mean, there's an element, especially in your position, kind of in that team lead position. You got to have, element of life coach that you have to bring to the table, to be able to navigate. I mean, it really falls back on leadership. And,
Mhm.
you know, what I would challenge everybody, and I love your take, at what point do you not give up on being a part of a team and in abandoning it because you talked about, right? You got to find the right fit.
Yep.
And based upon, I think, your style, I think based upon where you're at in your career, but, from an advice standpoint, talking to agents, it's like, listen, you can jump too soon and try to do this on your own. What type of leadership and guidance do you give them to say, hey, if this isn't for you, find another team. You're just, sometimes it's not the right advice to say you're not ready, but you're not ready to
Yeah.
do your own thing yet.
Absolutely. What I try to do is try to just see it from their perspective. So wherever they're going through or whatever they're feeling, this is year 3 being having a team, and thankfully we just hit number 9 in Georgia for the month of September, and it's been a journey. I've lost team members, but the team members I have now, they're pretty solid, and we've been together. The longest has been 3 years, and the shortest has been 2 years. So I've had a close-knit team, but in the middle we have lost some people, and I had to sit them down and think about, okay, what is it do you truly feel like you need? And what do you think that you may not be getting from the team?
Mm.
And is that aligned? Is it because I am not available? Or is it because you're not taking full throttle of what is available? Or are you not really, a lot of times, and we see that with brokerages, where people jump brokerages and they move around, is because, oh, I'm not getting this from this brokerage, or oh, I'm not getting this from this person. And when they find at the end of the day, they're still left with themselves. And
Yeah.
so you have to realize, is it a me issue or is it an alignment issue? Where, you could look at, for me and my team, we don't give leads on my team. I like to teach my clients my agents how to fish. And so I don't give them leads. But if you're a certain person that comes from a certain background, you may need to be a part of a team that gives you leads so that you can feel like you have a good footing. And so that's something I'm very upfront about. And then, I think you do have to play around to see, what is right for you, what may be a better fit for you, just like with brokerages. You got to kind of do the same thing. So I think, I never take anything personal, and it's never hard feelings. So with me, I'm very business minded, but I'm also a human. So, and I also want everyone to win in their own right. So if your winning does not look like being a part of my team, I'm not going to not wish you well,
Yeah.
So I'm really going to help nurture you. I've had an agent who was brand new, and I've sent her somewhere else and connected her with another mentor, mainly because of what she needed did not align with what I could do, but I know someone else that could help that person.
How did you go about kind of the decision-making process of one transitioning and deciding to take the leadership reins and wanting to, create a structure, a team structure, kind of culture dynamic. And, over that 3 years, what were some of the ahas, lessons learned, looking back over the 3 years? Man, I wish I would have known this going into it. What type of advice, just for somebody, listening in, they may be at that point in their career, like, hey, I don't know if you're ever ready, but I think I'm as ready as I ever have been. What advice would you give, that person based upon what you learned over
Yeah,
that time frame?
absolutely. It's just to just do it, and don't be afraid to fail. But most people who are thinking about taking on this team leadership role, they have a certain oomph about them that is, gotten them in a certain place in their own business, and that they're willing to share it with others. Um, it's definitely been a journey, being a team lead, especially because I didn't come from a team. So I was really trying to understand, okay, what is a team structure, or what makes sense, and what does it look like, or what are the true benefits of being a part of a team? And for me, I knew I was ready when I hit top producer 2 years in a row in the Atlanta market. And I started to feel very alone. And I felt very like I was winning, but I felt like I was missing something. And so I started feeling like, I tell my team all the time, this team it's for you all, but it's for me, because
Yeah.
I need the accountability, and I need the positive energy, and I need the collaboration. The first 3 years of my career, or 2.5 years of my career, I didn't collaborate with other agents. I didn't even talk to other agents. I didn't even know there was even a reason to even talk to other agents. I was like, I'm just selling houses, and I just didn't really, I just really was not open to networking, or I just was in my own lane. And then I realized this business is so crazy that there has to be people there to uplift you, to hold you, to relate to you, to be able to hold you accountable to your own personal goals, but also to ground you, to make sure you don't get lost in the how much did I make this year? How much did I sell this year? But also stay footed in the fact that you're helping people. And so I knew that I was looking for that for myself. And so, like I said, teams weren't a huge thing when I first got started. It didn't become big until, I want to say, like 2 years ago, that teams started becoming. And Nicole Ambrose, who we both mutually know, she told me, she said, Courtney, you need to make a team, because she's like, I'm telling you now, the day of an individual agent is going to be gone, and there's going to just be teams. And she told me, it's time for you to do that. And I said, okay, well, let me just try to figure this out. And I failed at first. I got a partner, so I was scared to do it by myself. So I got a partner who was my mentee at the time, and I said, let's just do this together. Let's like build a team together. And then I realized, the team lead role, you have to be okay with taking a slight step back from your own personal business.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a hard pill to swallow, because real estate is such a mind game, because it puts you in a race with yourself, where I have to be better than last year, or I have to be just as good as I was. And to see yourself fall back sales volume, or to see yourself fall back in that perspective, you have to like mentally be prepared to that you're going to take a step back from your own business to help other people's business. And so with that original team partner, I felt like that wasn't fair, because he was still kind of new to real estate. And I felt like that wasn't fair to, put him in a position where he has to take a step back. And so I had to create C Stewart Group after that. And it was no hard feelings, even to the point where now he's a part of C Stewart Group. And so, we went from being partners to team lead and team member, but that's okay, because now I was able to take it, get the confidence to say, okay, let me walk away from this situation that is no longer serving both team members, or, team partnerships. And let me do it myself, and not be scared to do it myself. And now let me actually build something that I want to be a part of, and something that, I want to be something that I would want to have had. And if I wasn't on my team as a team lead, I would be on there as a member. I really enjoy our team. I enjoy everything that we do, and everything that we, our values and our belief system, and just the energy of our team.
Yeah. Courtney, so at what point, did you knew you couldn't do it alone? So I'm trying to get into your thought process here, because I think this is really, really insightful and really helpful for people, because you knew you didn't want to do it alone. And I think that's where a lot of agents get. And did you consider joining a team versus starting a team? What was the
didn't
decision?
know any teams that looked like the way I wanted the team to look.
Gotcha.
And no one was doing it the way I wanted to do it. And I would hear some of the teams, and for me personally, I've never been a lead driven real estate agent. I've always been one for family, friends, and referrals. So giving me leads did not entice me much. And then I just didn't see it, done the way that I was doing it. So, or the way I wanted to do it. So that was really the biggest driver for me, is like, okay, because I joined EXP through Nicole Ambrose. She told me to start a team. I went to EXPCon probably the month later, and I was asking everyone at EXPCon, what is the benefit of a team? Why are you on a team? Like, what is a team? Like,
You got curious.
Yeah. So, and everyone's answers didn't seem fair. I was like, you're going to take 50% of, and then I'm like, that just for me didn't seem fair. So I was like, I want to be on a team, and I want to be a part of a team and create a team that where everyone feels like they're winning and it seems fair for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to, as the reason I was kind of curious and thinking about it, listening to you kind of share your story, and was from Patrick Lencioni. Um, he wrote this book, and it's like the one that should lead the way in everything that he's done. Our first exposure. My first exposure was The Advantage, Death by Meetings, and Naked, and a few of his other books and works were kind of, their own deep dive, but it was comprehensive inside of The Advantage. And so really become kind of a student of his ever since. And anytime anything comes out, all over it, the Ideal Team Player, which just gives, cracks the code, makes it easy. You don't have to guess, right? Humble, hungry and smart, people smart, emotional intelligence, bring that to the table.
Yep.
And then you have, he kind of snuck it in there. And this was 2021 timeframe, and it's called The Motive. And of course, if you guys are familiar with any of Lencioni's work, most of his books are told in fable format. And so he kind of tells the story, and then he breaks it down at the end and puts it into how do you apply it to your life and to your business. And I remember listening to that book, and it's about two CEOs, and one is trying to acquire the other. And through the acquisition, what's going to happen? Only one can be CEO.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of goes through the whole self-discovery and process, and why he got in business in the first place. And one realized, one that was probably maybe more qualified to be CEO, but his heart wasn't to be CEO. His heart was to be head of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they can't combine forces, he let his ego go and he took head of marketing instead of head of company, because he got clear on why he's in this business and why he was in the business in the first place. And I think, there's nothing wrong with bringing and being a part of a team. I think that's just the self-discovery, knowing that you need a team. And that's what I love, the perks of being on a team. That doesn't mean that you are head of company and you're a team lead. Even if you are team lead, you're still a part of the team. And it's so important to understand. I mean, I loved how you articulated that. That's the first thing that I heard. I was like, oh, she's head of company, but she did this because it was a perk for her to have the team. And that's so important. And I think I've seen it too many times, and I'm sure you have as well. People start into this business sometimes by default, and then they start the teams just out of necessity, but not ever for the real reason or the right reason.
Absolutely.
And so, let's kind of start to, what you look at from, how you designed it, but the real perks of how you did. Because there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as you, that are really not committed to figure out the lead gen game. You've done a tremendous job at the branding and social media game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's a perk that you bring to the table. And I feel there's a lot of agents like you that would want to, kind of navigate down that path rather than in the relationship path. Then, okay, let me go crack the code. Let me figure out direct response. Let me figure out, and the funny thing is, you're more than qualified to bring all of this to the table, yet you chose to go just deep on this one area of your skill set. I'm curious why, because you have the full range when it comes to marketing, yet you've chose to go deep on the path that is just the branding and social aspect of it in the relationship game, instead of bringing the other things that you're qualified to bring to the table. How come you chose not to bring that and just focus on what you have chose?
I think it's just what you said, John. It's the heart of the CEO, and the heart and what feels good in doing it, and in social media and branding and relationships. That's the reason why I got into the business. And that is what feels good. And cold calling, I've tried it. It's nothing wrong with it. I've closed leads from Opcity before, but it didn't feel good. It didn't feel sustainable. I didn't feel like I can connect. So I think the big part of when you talk about, okay, if I should even start a team or be a part of a team, as a person who's thinking, for me, I was in a position of what should I do? And I chose to start a team. I had to grow that confidence, not confidence that I can close houses, but what do I bring to other people? What can I bring to a team? And the confidence had to come in and say, I may not, because I see it on Facebook too, and like different groups. They're like, I want to start a team, but I don't want to bring leads, or what do I need to do? You need to bring yourself, and you need to bring your best self, and that's why I'm such an open book for my team, because they are there to learn from my experience. They are better because they don't have to experience everything that I did in order to get the wisdom. And so I'm open and I'm candid with my journey and where I am. Even this year, like I said earlier, I was pregnant this year. I was like, I gotta pivot towards listings. And so they watched me and my whole entire business shift towards listing. And I kept them abreast of everything that I was doing. I showed them my manifestation techniques. I really keep them open to how I think. And they watch me strategize. I'll tell my team, like, hey, I don't know if you guys are following, but I'm here and I'm here and I'm here and I'm here and I'm here. They're like, okay, we got it. They understand how my mind works and they're able to glean off of that. And to me, I had to be confident in knowing that that is what my value is to the team. And that is why I'm here, is to allow them to learn from me and to be close to me and to be able to build off of all these big ideas that I have.
Yeah, no, I love it. How do you then, from a leadership perspective, you're not, you're not in the feeding game. You're in, kind of the inspiration model, what I'm doing. I can teach you, the aspect of relationships and social. You have the other, dynamics, credible database. You've got, obviously you capture the social, staying on the warm side of things. Obviously you have the cold outbound, cold outreach. You have, paid ads. How do you help them navigate how they're going to structure and build their business?
Yeah, so we go through a client attraction tracker that I created, which basically goes through what type of client do you want to attract based on your credibility, based on your background, based on your experience. And then we craft up a formula for them. So everyone on my team, we kind of run as individual brands, kind of, because we do have a collective brand of the C Stewart Group. So everyone knows my team for the C Stewart Group. But for my agent Lauren, for my agent Crystal, Phil, Will, Bridget, they all have their individual brand of who they are that makes them unique to attract a client. So what I do is try to tell them, how can we maximize who you are and showcase who you are to as many people as we can in order to get you more clients.
I love that. And to me, it's more of a longevity model with these agents. I feel like you've really taken into consideration, as long as you can keep them inspired to take action on their goals and getting to the closing table enough times to, be able to, be able to build and grow and have enough, resources to really live and ultimately thrive. I feel that it's a comparable model for retention.
Mm-hmm.
The traditional team models was always, the hardcore, hard push down on split.
Yep.
And what we always found was kind of the fundamental flaw in that model is that talent will always come out the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to have that type of team model, team structure, I mean, one of the biggest ones on the planet, right in your backyard, started that way. And I think if you go to work over there, you're only going to get 15, 20, 25%. Now you're getting a truckload of opportunities and things right in front of people, but that's a high turnover model.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, one of the most important systems to have in your business, but one of the hardest ones to nail is the hiring process.
Yeah.
And you better be dang good at hiring and recruiting The problem though is that most of those people that are good at that, the back door is wide open.
Yeah.
They get them in and it's just a matter of time. They're sneaking out the back door and they're gone.
Yeah.
And I feel like the path that you've chosen is a little bit maybe, I mean, you have a strong enough brand, but so you're able to really attract at a high level. You've built an attraction-based model that is built for retention. That's what I'm picking up.
Yep. And I think it's because that's how I do my clients. You know, I want to build that relationship. And I think, like you said, with the bigger the team sometimes and the different certain models, they work and they're good. And they're just like companies, but they just like have a revolving door. And for me, I really wanted to make a team that is a top producing team that consistently produces, but also that stays, you know? And so that's why I have weekly conversations with them on different things that they're thinking, or I bring up hard topics. Just in case anyone's thinking about these hard topics, I'll bring it up first and make sure that they know that the door is open to have that conversation with me. And I do that because I also want to learn and grow too. So if they're thinking, well, hey, Courtney, I think I need a little bit more of this in my business, then let's figure that out. Let's let's do this together. You know, I just don't want them to feel alone. We are looking for more agents now, but the way we're going to do it, we want to grow at a pace that is sustainable, and we want to grow with agents that are truly passionate about the business. And I think that's what I look for the most, is the passion and the why in the business. Because agents will come to me and, you know, you can tell when they don't have a true why behind it, or when they don't have a true hustle mentality, or, you know, so those are two things I look for: a why and hustle. Because once you have your why established, whether it be, you know, freedom, or, you know, a love for houses, or, you know, whatever that why is, as long as it's not like driven on money, because we all want money and we want to make the most money. And I'm always looking for different ways to put money in my agents' pockets. And I think that's what they know and appreciate as well. If I have mentees that I know that I can't support them, but they would be better over there, I would gladly give them some mentees so that they can have extra additional income. But it can't be your only thing, because this business is not, it's not that lucrative right now. You know, I mean, it can be, for those who work extremely hard, and that's where the hustle has to come in. So if you know, you got to have a why or hustle, because, you know, if not, you'll fade out easily. And for me, I do spend money on my agents, and we have a really nice office, and we have like branded material and things like that. So I personally don't want to spend money on agents that are going to just be a quick turnover, or, you know, this is just a you know, just a thought or something like that. So as we are opening up our doors, I think what I wanted to do with my team now, because we have a new member who's going to join, Bridget, but she's been working alongside of the team for the last year. Besides her, everyone else has been around for about 2 or 3 years. I wanted to build a brand first before we open up the doors completely. I wanted C Stewart Group to be known as a producing team before other agents came in, so that way they understand what the brand is, they understand exactly where we're headed, and how the team is operated and what we stand for before they decide to come on.
Do you see the why and the hustle go hand in hand? Usually if there, you know, if there's a hustle, there's a why.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. As you were listening, as I was thinking about it, it's something I write down. It's Coach Prime. And, you know, the second he talks to a kid, you know, he asks, you know, he translated to, you know, kind of growing up and the dog tracks, and, you know, it's the rabbit, and the dogs are chasing the rabbit. And that's kind of his question is, you know, what rabbit are you chasing?
Yep.
And he says that if the kids hesitate or don't have a clear rabbit they're chasing, he can't have them in his environment. Because I don't think you can put hard work and hustle unless they're chasing something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
good.
And even, I'm always honest too. When I first got in the business, my why was here, then it was there, and then it was because I was also, growing up myself. I started real estate at 25, so I was growing up, and then had children in the middle of having this, got married in the middle. So you grow up, and that why changes, and
Yeah.
your hustle changes, but you have to have a certain heart, and there's a certain look, and for lack of better words, real recognizes real,
Yeah. Facts. Big facts. So, Courtney, what from your skill set, and if you guys, we really unpacked Courtney's story and life before real estate on the previous Expert Mentors, and I was just fascinated, just your depth of from it comes from a sales and marketing perspective, and definitely what you've done playing the game primarily, Instagram and TikTok, and how you utilize the platforms and who's there to your advantage and drive one back to the other. And it was a really good conversation. And looking at kind of the landscape and where things are at, TikTok going away, it's not going away, emergence of how heavy AI is, how critical, it is to create specific content that the AI will pick up and pull from the search as consumer behavior changes moving into the future. Where is your focus? What's Courtney's crystal ball like, and the focus around, human behavior, marketing, and trends moving into this second half of the decade?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I think we're still, as a team lead, I'm still learning to figure that out. So right now, I know we're about to change our database, our CRM system. We're going to just shift that over to a new system, and then we're also going to do more tracking of our metrics and numbers. But as far as social media goes, I think it's so crazy. I was just having a conversation with my team. I think the big push that we need to do for us as a team, that we're striving to do, is become more than real estate. And I think that if there's other levels or layers that we can connect with people, and then be a realtor as well, I think that that's going to be the best way to go about it. And keeping that consistency. I'm getting more and more people that have Google searched and found me as clients, that have Instagram searched and found me as clients. And the biggest thing that they say is that they feel like they know me, or they feel comfortable, or they feel like I'm reliable. So a part of the client attraction tracker that I go through with my agent is understanding who you are outside of real estate as well. Because a lot of people, they don't understand that real estate, I'm 31 now, but real estate has been 31 years, because those are people who have been watching me. A lot of my clients, they've known me since I was younger, or they know me since I was a teenager in my 20s, and they trust me now because of who I've been all my life. And
Yeah.
so it's about now showcasing to the masses, who are you and who have you been, so that they can relate to you on that perspective. Because what I'm realizing, with a lot of agents dropping out, and we'll probably have more agents drop out of the industry by the end of the year, they have floating clients. The clients that were supposed to be those agents, they're now floating, and they don't have a realtor.
Yeah.
Why would they choose you now? So now, how can we make ourselves aware? I don't get too much into, because I tell people, my TikTok, I closed someone from a TikTok video that probably got 150 views. I don't look too much at the views, or I don't get too caught into the likes, because it only takes one like. It only takes one view.
Yeah.
It only takes
One.
one person in order for that video to now make you thousands of dollars. But it's about what the content is. And I think right now the content has to be a little bit more about who you are, and a little bit more about the person. And so that's going to be, the first quarter of next year, I'm going to take a deeper dive into who my agents are on my team, so that you all can feel like, oh, wow, I didn't know this agent did this, or this agent's from this place, or, that's their background. even myself, I have a different background, and I come from corporate, and I don't speak about the background as much, but now I think it's time for me to open up and say, hey, did you guys know I invested when I was 21 years old? Just so that people can say like, oh, wow, I didn't, these are things I didn't know, but these could be reasons why I choose you to be my realtor.
Mm-hmm. Do you see the importance of connecting and authentic, being authentic, your authentic self, just because of how things have been?
Yeah.
It's just definitely coming to a boiling point, and I think it's tipped over for sure to where you know trust to me is at an all-time low,
Yep.
and I think you've got to be so intentional with your content that you're genuine, you're authentic, right? My favorite definition of trust is just authenticity times time.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about that consistency, the same message when they see you, they like, there's Courtney. Yep. There's
Yep.
Courtney. That's
Mm-hmm.
Courtney. Yep. That's Courtney. And then they meet you in real life and you're like, damn, you're like, I've felt like I've known you forever. Like you're the same person I see online and offline. Is that why you believe it's so important going into the future, is just being authentic?
Absolutely, absolutely. That trust is so important because there's a lot of things that we shouldn't be trusting right now. There's a lot of news out there. There's a lot of confusion going on right now. There's a lot of people that are in a state of confusion, which is why I feel like sales have dropped nationally, is because people don't know if they should buy or if they should sell, or they're confused by who they should trust, what messages they're given. And everything like that. So if you as a person, as a realtor, can be that standing ground, that trustworthy person, but it's a catch because sometimes you don't have that time with people. You don't have that time to build that trust. So you have to do that with video, or you have to do that with whatever medium that you have, whether that's reviews, whether that is just doing different events and having a certain level of energy, because sometimes we have bad days, but I say if you have a bad day, you need to stay home because, you never know that one impression can impact so many people.
Ripple effect.
So exactly. So I think right now agents have to be on their A game. Like, I mean, it's hard to get a house sold. But these buyers, they're hard to even get them off the fence to buy a house as well.
Yeah.
So you have to be a person that's level-headed, that's trustworthy, but also this is where the greed and that money part has to be taken out of, because people can smell when you just want to sell a house.
Yep. And a lot of agents are they want that house to sell more than the buyer or seller wants to
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can feel that energy where it's like, okay, and even you have to check yourself and say, okay, I always tell myself, this is not about me. I'm not buying a house, nor am I selling my house. I'm just the middleman to who this is about. And you have to remove yourself from that position so that they can trust you. Because if they look at you and see that you just want a commission check, they're not going to trust what you're saying, because they're going to think it's biased towards you getting paid.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of figure out a way to get that off of your brain. Or, I tell agents it's a good time to supplement your income doing other things, not necessarily outside of real estate, but people don't understand I think we talked about that too. There's so much ways you can make money within real estate and doing certain skill set that it's not a bad idea to try to, whatever you can do to make sure that you're not driven by money. Because if you're driven by the commission, your buyers are going to feel it, your sellers are going to feel it, and it's just not going to be a fun deal. It's not going to be a fun deal.
Yeah, you're gonna push when you shouldn't, and
Yeah.
you're gonna cross the boundary, cross the line. You're gonna say something that will immediately push away. Courtney, when I'm hearing so a couple things, right? I've really leaned into this over the last since we talked, pretty much more so the last probably 9 months. Just how important it is to be just an incredible storyteller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in your content and kind of the direction where you're going is being able to tell story.
Yes.
And the agents that I see that are really committed and focused on utilizing their content and telling stories and their listings and their listing, listing marketing, videos and things that they're doing, and the ability to tell those stories. Because when trust is as low as it is, it's the stories that I believe people will connect with. And so for you, is there anything, I mean, obviously, being probably a little bit more about you, probably telling a little bit more about your story, kind of a founder type story, being able to share and make the connection. At the end of the day, I mean, I mean, let's be honest, people buy people.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to tell a story for people to want to buy you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, naturally, I don't think I'm the best storyteller. And I think that that's something that I'm working on because I understand the value of storytelling. I think for me, some of my stories, I have to get out of my head and get out of my way of feeling like I'm bragging or feeling like I'm telling a pity party,
Yeah.
where it's sometimes I see people lead with struggle and then triumph. And I think about, I'm like, oh, I guess I did struggle too, and I never, because I never sit in that. But some people, like to hear that. And even I gave the story of it took me 3 times to pass my real estate license and test. And, that I didn't realize how much that would inspire so many realtors who were taking their test, knowing that someone who was NAR 30 under 30 took 3 times to pass that test, and it just is what it is. So what I'm doing with my team, it's like figuring out, okay, if we can't figure out how to tell stories naturally within ourselves, let's figure out a different way to create content. So I'm excited about the content that we're going to create because it's going to be a way for us to tell these stories about ourselves, our past, and even our whys into our real estate business without us feeling like it is so cookie cutter, like bragging or like pity party or any kind of whatever is in our head about it. It's a way for us to be able to speak to people and have a conversation. And I think that's what was also hard sometimes online and when you create these videos is having a conversation and having that person, like you said, when they meet you, feel like they already know you.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so good. What's 25? I mean, what's the goal for, the C Stewart group? What's the goal for Courtney? What's the goal for the Stewart family? Like what are you guys excited and committed and focused on into 25?
Yeah, we are excited to grow the team. I think that my focus, I'm definitely still taking on clients. I think I really want to work with clients that that just really align with me better. I don't think I'm going to be in the hunting for clients. I rather just work with clients that feel good to work with, family, friends, referrals.
Yeah.
I'm in the feel good work.
Ones that you like to hang out with, right?
Yeah. But I really want to grow the team. I really do because there's a lot of agents out there that I see that are killing it that I would love to see on our team. That way we can really maximize that brand and be able to offset or offload some of that stress that I know that they have. And, I know how social media looks, but I also know how hard work looks,
Yeah.
and you need people around you that are able to be a part of your journey, to witness your journey, but to support that journey, to love on that journey, and also to strategize with you.
Yeah. So important. I'm pro, I always tell people if you're looking to grow, right? And I think that threshold, I mean, some can get a little bit higher depending upon average sales price, but I mean, you can pretty much, you can get to, 250, 300,000. But if you really like want to, take it, make a run, half a million, $1 million, not necessarily maybe from GCI and transaction fees, but unlocking other opportunities. You got to have some type of team structure. You got to have some type of, definitely pro partner. You got to have somebody that's there with you. Cause the days get long and the days get hard and the days get challenging. So you've got to have a great support system around you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, our team is in a good position for growth because we built the partnerships. We have really great partnerships. We have a really great office. We have really great systems that we're implementing, as well as systems that are not going to just help our agents back in, but systems that are also going to be good for our clients as well. So I feel good about getting in the season of nurturing other agents' growth.
Yeah.
And really helping agents and being that positive peace of mind and just someone to say, I know what you've been through. I know what you're going through. Everything's going to be fine,
Yeah.
And I tell my team all the time, like, hey, raise your hand if you start to grow, because I want them to manifest growth. I'm like, raise your hand if you grow so fast that you feel like you can't breathe, because I need you to say something. I think that's what happened to me. I grew so fast, I couldn't breathe, and there was no one there to throw me a life vest,
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
I want to be that person to say, hey, let me take something off your hands. Let me do something for you. Let me help you out so that you can continue growing, because
Right.
we don't want to hit a threshold. We want to keep going to the top.
That's it. It's all about it, right? It's you either believe you're growing or you're dying. And if you're not pushing and getting uncomfortable, staying uncomfortable, then to me, that's not growth. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Courtney, you're amazing. I know, look forward to doing this again. And, for you guys listening, connect with Courtney. Just her TikTok, her Instagram as just absolutely incredible, inspiring, especially if you're looking to nail, I think, the right way to utilize Instagram and utilize TikTok, utilize the tools, to help you grow your business. So Courtney,
Thanks
thank you. I definitely
for having
look forward to
me.
doing it again. Awesome.
Awesome.
All right. We'll see you.